Diddy, I got news for you. There's a freight train coming, and you are tied to those motherfucking tracks. And your lawyer, he's got a chisel, he's got a blowtorch, and he's got all kinds of other tools in his toolbox. And nothing he can do can remove you from those tracks, because that train is coming, and that train is the U.S. government.
So, as we all know, in a turn of events that really shouldn't surprise anyone, Diddy has been arrested. On September 16, 2024, federal agents took him into custody based on a sealed indictment from the Southern District of New York. Just so we're clear, an indictment is legal lingo for some serious charges.
Sean Combs led and participated in a racketeering conspiracy that used the business empire he controlled to carry out criminal activity, including sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and the obstruction of justice.
Sean Combs is accused of leading a racketeering conspiracy, using his huge business empire to pull off some pretty nasty stuff like sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and even obstruction of justice. Right now, he's facing 3 big charges: racketeering conspiracy, trafficking by force, fraud or coercion, and transporting people for prostitution. Let's break it down a bit. The racketeering charge is all about illegal activities aimed at making a profit, often dressed up as legitimate business. According to the indictment, Diddy supposedly abused, threatened, and coerced women and others in his orbit to satisfy his sexual needs, protect his image, and cover up his behavior. Basically, the indictment claims he used his businesses and employees to create a criminal network involved in a slew of illegal activities. All those businesses Diddy built throughout his music and fashion careers, they were allegedly used to help him fulfill his twisted desires. Many of his staff were reportedly in on it, helping to cover up his actions. The employees engaged in and attempted to engage in various illegal activities, including trafficking, forced labor, interstate transportation for prostitution, coercion, enticement to engage in prostitution, narcotics offenses, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice. The indictment also says that Diddy would get women to cooperate by giving them drugs, threatening their careers, and using intimidation. From 2009 onward, he allegedly assaulted women in various ways, hitting, punching, dragging, throwing stuff, and kicking. Now, here's one of the more shocking parts of the indictment: the freak-offs. It states that Combs used force, threats, and coercion to make victims participate in extended sex acts with male sex workers, which he called freak-offs. These freak-offs were elaborate setups that Diddy supposedly planned, directed, and recorded. Reports suggest these sessions could last several days, and he would pump participants full of drugs to keep them compliant. After these multi-day events, he even gave them IV fluids to help them recover. Can you believe that? Law enforcement seized a bunch of freak-off supplies, including narcotics, and over 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricant. That detail went viral. While it's kind of funny, it also shows just how wild this whole situation was. The feds also found several firearms in Diddy's homes, which he allegedly used to intimidate his victims. To top it all off, it looks like he's been doing this stuff since at least 2008, which means we're talking about nearly 20 years of horrific crimes. Sure, there are plenty of jokes flying around about this, but let's be real. This is some seriously disturbing stuff. Who knows how many victims he has? Then there are the other 2 counts: trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, and transporting people for prostitution. These charges have similar themes to what we've talked about. And listen, when the U.S. government decides to indict you, you can bet they have some solid evidence. Federal prosecutors have a conviction rate of over 95%, so things aren't looking great for Diddy right now. They even claim to have tons of recordings and seized various electronic devices during a raid earlier this year.
Sean Combs stood in Times Square and was handed a key to New York City. Today, he's been indicted and will face justice in the Southern District of New York. Second, we are not done. This investigation is ongoing, and I encourage anyone with information about this case to come forward and to do it quickly.
It's wild to think that not long ago, Sean Combs was standing in Times Square getting a key to New York City, and now he's facing some serious charges in the Southern District of New York. The indictment also hints that there may be others involved in Diddy's actions. There's a federal crime called misprision of felony, which means knowing about a felony and not reporting it to the authorities. This suggests the investigation is far from over.
And there is a federal crime called misprision of felony, which is defined in 18 U.S.C. Section 4. Quote, whoever having knowledge of the actual commission of a felony cognizable by a court of the United States conceals and does not as soon as possible make known the same to some judge or other person in civil or military authority under the United States shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 3 years or both. So if a person has knowledge of a felony and conceals it and doesn't report it to the authorities, that person has committed a crime.
Since his arrest, Diddy has been denied bail multiple times and is reportedly on suicide watch, sharing a jail with Sam Bankman-Fried, the FTX cryptocurrency fraudster. I wonder what they will get up to. Diddy's lawyer also keeps insisting he's innocent, which is starting to sound a bit ridiculous at this point.
He's a fighter. He's going to fight this to the end. He's innocent. He came to New York to establish his innocence. He's not afraid. He's not afraid of the charges. There's nothing that the government said in their presentation today that changes anyone's mind about anything.
The baby oil and the lubricants, 1,000 bottles of baby oil.
I don't think it was 1,000. I think it was a lot. I mean, there's a Costco right down the street. You know, I think Americans buy in bulk, as we know. And, you know, this is consensual adults doing what consensual adults do.
Costco shut that baby oil claim down very quickly. To wrap it all up, Diddy is currently up against at least 11 lawsuits. He's settled one, but is also facing an indictment that covers themes of violence, sexual assault, racketeering, trafficking, prostitution, and more. None of these lawsuits mention other celebrities except for Lil Ronnie's, which has been changed to leave out some bigger names. It's possible that as this investigation unfolds, we might hear about other famous people linked to Diddy's freak-offs. But for now, these are the serious allegations against him. Thanks for watching. Do you think Diddy will beat these charges, or will he be sharing a cell with R. Kelly? Let us know in the comments and check out the video pinned above to see how Diddy fell from grace. Until next time, remember to check on your baby oil.